Hi, it's Caroline from my Pilates Partner, and I promised that I would share my go-to stretches that I like to do after exercise. So this is what I would do when I come in from a run, but it would be equally useful if you just played a game of tennis or done some five-a-side soccer. So the first thing you're going to stretch is your quads, because you've used your quads in all those activities. You're going to take your foot in your hand, hold on, try as much as possible to bring the two thighs parallel to each other. Watch out for knees that like to stick out like that to the side. That's an indication that you have tightness down here, and you want to try and keep that down so it gets stretched as well. Also, maybe you're more flexible than that and you can take the thigh behind the other thigh. That's good, as long as you don't exaggerate the arch in your back. Okay, all these stretches are going to be held for 30 seconds, and you should do each leg twice over for 30 seconds. So that's the quads. I'm just demonstrating one of everything. Then the backs of the thighs, the hamstrings, will need to be stretched as well. I'm showing you all the stretches that can be done upright, pitch side, court side, so you don't have to lie on the ground. So there are many ways of stretching the hamstring. The upright way, or one of them, is this. So I am going to hinge forwards from the hips with this leg straight. My foot is on the floor. This other knee is bent. I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. Okay? Stretches up here. You need to know what's a good stretch. You know there's a difference between a healthy stretch and crossing the line into a painful stretch. Hopefully in your body you know where that line is and you don't go into a painful stretch. I'm going to demonstrate this one once more with an add-on. So you can do the hamstrings with the addition of your calf muscle by pulling your toe up. Now I have tightness in my calves often, so I prefer to give the calves their own bit of attention. So I tend to not do this. I tend to just focus on the hamstring on their own, and then I do the next stretch I'm about to demonstrate for the calf muscle on its own. But this is a nice use of your time if you combine the two. So to stretch the calf muscle, this one in here, I'm going to stand in stride. I'm going to put one foot forwards, one foot back, hands on my hips. Again, without arching my back, I'm going to just drift my way forwards, keeping that knee bent, straight, that knee bent, heels on the ground, and I'm getting a stretch in there. Okay? Really important that the foot is pointed straight ahead. I'll show you from a different angle. If I turn my foot out, well then I might just totally miss the calf, and I'm not stretching the calf any longer. So straight ahead. Then, because I tend to get tightness in that area, I like to also stretch the Achilles tendon. So I will shorten my stride and I will bend the back knee and sit down onto that heel, stretching in there. There's the Achilles tendon in that area. Again, I'll give that the full 30 seconds twice over on each leg, because if I do get any tightness in my muscles, it'll tend to be down there. So that's the Achilles tendon. Okay, now, especially if you've done some multi-directional exercise like tennis or soccer, you will want to stretch the inner thighs as well. So I'm going to sit down into an inner thigh stretch like this. It's this leg down the seam of the trousers that's getting stretched. And I'm going to add in a little bit of squatting type action with a hip dip here, where my weight is going back over my heel. So I'm making this work while the other one is getting stretched. Keep the chest upright, you don't flex forwards, and you just sit down into it. Okay, so now we've taken care of these big muscles, these big muscles, these big muscles, these. You need to think of the glutes. So this can be done in sitting or standing. First, the standing version, you go into your figure four and you sit down into it. And again, you would hold it 30 seconds, twice. Then, here's the seated version. So you sit, cross, up tall, and then you hinge forwards from your hips. I'm going to show you that from the side, like so. Just mind what you're doing with your neck so you don't hurt yourself. And again, it's the same exercise, just a different version. This can also be done on the floor in a couple of different positions too. But these are the upright ones. Now, that's what I would do after a run. But if I had played a game of tennis, I would also want to think about stretching my shoulders, so I would do this as well. So grasp your fingers, and if you can't reach your fingertips, that's absolutely fine. You just anchor your yourself in with your t-shirt and hang out there for 30 seconds instead. So they may seem time consuming, but I will be doing those while I am, drinking some water after exercise, chatting to the family, telling them about the game of tennis, whatever. So that's a really useful set of stretches for you to do within your own ability after you have exercised.